edition of Too Good for Drugs. Virtual learners, you all are going along very well. This is lesson 8, the blunt truth, the effects of THC and marijuana. Now, last week we talked about nicotine, and we talked about the effects that nicotine can have on your body and your goals. We also talked about how nicotine can be used, well, tobacco product can be used in product placement, and how they can advertise their products, make it seem like their product is glamorous and something that you need. Now today, with marijuana, marijuana is also a product that is used just like with product placement to make you want it. This drug comes from a plant called cannabis sativa, and its main chemicals that make users high is THC, also known for tetrahydrocannabinol. Now, you may believe you know everything there is to know about marijuana, but let's make sure that your perception matches your facts, all right? So I want you to turn to your page 18 in the section titled The Blunt Truth. Now with this page, you are going to answer true or false for each scenario, all right? Now with this, as I go along, answer true or false, and if you get it right, you get 5 points. If you get it wrong, you get 0 points. So after we finish up all the scenarios, I want you to tally up all your points and let's see how well you did, all right? So for the first scenario on page 18, number 1, Sam watched the movie and determined that because the movie stars smoke marijuana on the screen, it must be real. So true or false? Marijuana use portrayed in movies is real marijuana. And the answer to that is false. Now, just as an employee would get fired for drinking on the job, actors cannot perform on their job under the influence and under the influence of marijuana. Now, Hollywood spends a lot of money on fake dinosaurs and fake aliens, and they can do the same with marijuana to make it look real. Now, recreational use is still illegal at the federal level. Allowing actors to be high on set is a liability to the studio, and being high would interfere with the actor's ability to perform. So number 1 is false. Now, number 2, Raquel thought that using marijuana would help her concentrate and do better in school. True or false? Marijuana use improves concentration and academic performance. And the answer to that is false. Now, marijuana use in adolescence is associated with altered brain development and a decline of cognitive function and poor academic performance. So number 2 is false. Number 3, after smoking a joint, Max zoned down on the couch. His teammates text him to come to practice for the big game on Saturday. But Max didn't want to make the effort. True or false? Marijuana makes users less motivated. And the answer to that is true. Now, lack of motivation is also called a motivational syndrome. And marijuana use causes users to lose interest in activities, school, work, personal hygiene, and life in general. Now, number 4. Michelle pressured her friend Monica to get high with her. Michelle said, "Come on, Monica. Marijuana is natural, so it's harmless." True or false? Marijuana is safe because it's natural. And the answer to that is false. Now, many drugs derive from natural plants, such as tobacco comes from the tobacco plant. Cocaine comes from the coca plant, and heroin comes from the poppy plant. All these plants are natural, but the drugs that are derived from them are not safe. So number 4 is false. Number 5, at a local middle school, police confiscated a stash of marijuana from someone's locker. The forensics lab determined that marijuana was laced with numerous chemical substances. True or false? When people buy marijuana, the marijuana is always pure and contains no other substances. And the answer to that is false. Now, marijuana growers and dealers often secretly lace the drug with other substances, including bug spray, cocaine, and in some cases, meth. Now, number 6. Sean knows that a girl he likes will be at tonight's party. He decided to impress her with his charming wit. Unfortunately, he got high before the party and couldn't remember his jokes and made a fool of himself instead. True or false? Marijuana makes users forgetful. And the answer to that is true. Now, the mind-altering substance in marijuana called tetrahydrocannabinol, in short, or THC, connects the receptors of the brain that affect the memory. Now, number 7. Marie pressured Nolan to get high with her. She said, "Come on, there's no big deal. It's not like weed is addictive." True or false? Marijuana is not addictive. And the answer to that is false. Now, addiction can be physical or psychological. Occasional users may not yet be chemically dependent on marijuana, but psychologically, they feel like they need to be high. So number 7 is false. Number 8. Felicia and her older sister Laura was driving her and her friend to a movie. As they were getting to the car, Laura admitted that she was high on marijuana, but she was fine to drive. True or false? Marijuana does not affect one's ability to drive a car safely. Answer that is false. Now, marijuana use impairs driving performance, including reaction time, depth perception, concentration, and coordination. So number 8 is false. Now number 9. Roman had to quit the track team because he couldn't run the 500-meter event as easily as he once could. He had trouble breathing and suffered from chronic cough. He didn't think smoking marijuana would affect his lungs. True or false? Marijuana smoke causes breathing problems. And answer that is true. Smoke is smoke, whether it comes from marijuana, tobacco products, or a burning building. Smoking in the lungs can cause respiratory problems. Now number 10. Marie wanted to lose weight. She started smoking marijuana because she heard marijuana suppresses the appetite. True or false? Marijuana suppresses the appetite. And the answer to that is false. Now, THC, the mind-altering substance in marijuana, increased the appetite, leading to the phrase, the munchies. And this increased appetite can result in weight gain, not weight loss. Number 11, true or false? Marijuana contains a mind-altering substance which can cause brain damage. And the answer to that is true. Marijuana use, like alcohol use, impairs the brain. And the teenage brain is still developing. And impairment caused by marijuana will damage the brain still under construction. So number 11 is true. Number 12. Hannah was feeling nervous about an upcoming drama audition. Her friend encouraged her to get high to relax. Hannah did get high, but her heart began beating faster. True or false? Marijuana slows the heart rate. And the answer to that is false. Now, while THC marijuana impairs brain activity, it accelerates the heart rate for up to 3 hours after use. And the increased heart rate can make a person feel more anxious and put the user at a greater risk of having a heart attack. Now, number 13, Josie used to be the best gymnast on the balance beam. Since using marijuana, she's had trouble with coordination and balance while practicing her routine. True or false? Balance and coordination are not affected by marijuana use. Answer to that is false. Now, THC, the mind-altering substance in marijuana, blocks receptors in the brain that regulate concentration, coordination, and balance. Number 14. Raymond got high on marijuana before going to Friday night's football game. While walking to the game, he felt like he was being followed and kept looking behind him and darting behind bushes to hide. Now, he believed someone was going to attack him. So true or false, marijuana use causes paranoia? And the answer to that is true. Now, the THC causes paranoid thoughts. THC causes the emotional areas of the brain to go on high alert. 15. Joey kept getting colds and has a hard time getting rid of them. True or false? Marijuana affects the immune system. Answer to that is true. Now, a group of California scientists examined 450 people who didn't smoke tobacco products, but who did smoke marijuana every day. They found that these marijuana smokers had more sick days and more doctor visits for respiratory problems than a group of people who didn't smoke at all. Last one, 16. After getting high at a friend's house, Marcus got in his car to drive home. He saw the traffic light turn red, but he could not stop in time. He was arrested for driving under the influence. True or false? It's possible to get DUI by high on marijuana. The answer to that is true. Remember, police issue DUIs when someone is driving under an influence of any substance or any mind-altering substance, not just alcohol. Remember that. So the answer to that is true. So let's check your scores, okay? Now, tally up your scores and write down your score on the bottom of 18 where it says your score. And if you got 0 to 20 points, caution, things are what you perceive. 21 to 39 points, don't believe everything you hear, check your sources. 40 to 59 points, you're getting closer to truth, keep researching. 60 to 80 points, excellent, you know your facts. Now, with marijuana use, it can affect not only your body, but also can affect your goals. So I want everybody to look on page 19 where it says goals interrupted. And we're going to read Stewart's short-term goal, which is improving at football, and Marie's short-term goal, which is getting and keeping a part-time job. Now, Stewart's short-term goal, which is improving at football, and the 5 ways his goals are interrupted is 1, lack of motivation could keep him from practicing and improving his game. 2, shortness of breath could slow him down on the field. 3, slow reaction time can keep him from catching a pass. And 4, loss of depth perception could affect his ability to track the ball and play. And 5, bad judgment could cause him to make a bad play. Now these are all effects of marijuana use for Stewart. Now for Marie, her short-term goal is the getting and keeping a part-time job. 1 is lying to hide that her marijuana habit would make her unreliable and appear untrustworthy to a potential employer. 2, lack of concentration means she can make mistakes when giving change or giving out information. 3, red eyes could be a dead giveaway that she uses marijuana, which could result in drug tests. 4, memory problems could make her forget how to complete a task. And 5, irritability could cause friction with coworkers. Now you all, at the bottom of page 19 where it says my short-term goal, I want you to write down your own short-term goal and write down 5 ways marijuana could affect that. Now, we talked about how marijuana can affect everyday normal tasks. So on page 20 and 21 where it says get high or get real, there are 2 different teenagers. One is teenager, a frequent marijuana user, and the other is a drug-free teenager. I want you to match the hours of the day and figure out what's the difference between the two that are the ones that are using marijuana and the one that is not using marijuana, and track down and try to write down ways of what's different about each of their day. All right. Now, the legal status of marijuana is subject of ongoing debate. It's a federal offense to purchase, grow, and carry or use marijuana because of the harm it can cause in most states. Now, however, scientists have discovered some of the effects of CBD and low amounts of THC can be useful in preventing and treating certain medical conditions. Therefore, in some states, marijuana use and limit possession is permitted under the guidance of licensed medical professionals and dispensed from an approved regulated dispensary. Now, while it's still a federal offense, some states allow recreational use of marijuana, but just like alcohol, it's not legal for people under the age of 21 to use. Now, even if marijuana was completely legal for recreational use, it still isn't something safe to put in your body. Just like nicotine and alcohol, the risk of marijuana use is significant, and the harm to the body is real. So for next week, we're going to talk about the risk of misusing prescription and over-the-counter medication, as well as the harmful effects of street drugs.